RWBY is a show that no matter what you say about it, someone will yell at you, telling you that your opinion is wrong. And since my friends no longer want to listen to me talk about the show, I came to the internet. Oh, I'm going to regret this, aren't I? In case you're unfamiliar, RWBY is a show about 4 girls going to school where they learn how to kill monsters made out of evilness. Also cat racism. The show gets more complex as it progresses, but that's mostly post-Volume 3, and we're not talking about that today. I just want to talk about how fucking awesome these trailers are. Because not a lot of people talk about these trailers. They mostly focus on the shit show that followed. On November 2012, Rooster Teeth released a video called RWBY Red Trailer, aka Monty Ohm, Jeff Williams and his daughter Casey gave us the fucking anime bible. If you have not seen this trailer, pause this video and go and watch it, because it's one of the sickest looking fights in anything. This video will try and explain all these trailer fights, but it cannot be done if you haven't seen them before. While writing this, I went back to the trailers just to remind myself of the basics of it, and I'm still trying to get over the hype. 8 volumes of RWBY have come out at the time of writing this, and nothing has been anywhere near this cool. I just love how the bullets are used to give RWBY momentum and how gory the whole thing is, and I'm getting ahead of myself. So what actually happens in this trailer? Probably should start with that. The trailer starts with RWBY, the character, not the show, looking at a grave of someone called Summer Rose. Interesting. RWBY walks through a forest with red like roses playing in the background. RWBY exits the forest and is surrounded by these shadow wolf things, who are patiently waiting for her. They go into an attack, RWBY disappears, and proceeds to kick the absolute Fuck, I screwed the take up at the end. Kick the absolute crap out of them. The first attack of this trailer is more gory than anything in the actual show. This trailer is incredible. Obviously, I wouldn't still be talking about it 9 years after its release if it wasn't. However, I feel like it has a lot of problems that don't often get discussed. Firstly, these wolves are fucking pathetic. Like, I get the point is to show how strong this girl is, but they can at least put up a fight. This part is extremely stupid. Like, this wolf just rolls over and dies when his friend torso falls on him. RWBY gets hit once in this trailer, and she blocks it almost perfectly. But they spend so much time just standing around doing nothing and just taking damage. Secondly, there's too much slow motion used, especially in the middle sections. These scenes are awesome, but it really kills the pace. However, despite these flaws, this is still one of the greatest trailers for anything I've ever seen. I mean, when the music picks up, there is nothing like it. 9 out of 10. I'm ranking these trailers on a scale of 1 to 10. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Yes, I do have ADHD, why'd you ask? Controversial take? The white trailer is better than the red trailer. They're both 9 out of 10 trailers, but I think the white trailer is slightly better. And why is this fighting style my least favourite out of the 4? So that's how you know this is a good trailer. Firstly, this guy is fucking terrifying. These wolves, pushovers. This guy makes me genuinely fear for Weiss's life. A giant horde couldn't land a single solid hit. RWBY was fine after this attack. Weiss loses balance after every hit, and when she gets hit, you can feel it. This makes it actually feel like an accomplishment when Weiss beats him. There are stakes. Also, the fight is just a lot faster paced than the red trailer, as there isn't much pausing for the camera. There's only really one point where I lost Weiss due to it. The trailer starts with this message, which is something they started doing for all the trailers apart from the first. Probably because RWBY doesn't have anything that would fit. You know, she's a boring character. Everyone is entitled to their own sorrow, but the heart has no metric or form of measure, and all of it irreplaceable. Okay, serious talk for a second. This quote really hits home. There's this really toxic mentality to mental health that someone's not allowed to be sad because you had it worse. No. Your suffering is justified, no matter how privileged you are. Unless you're complaining about Mars, in that case just man up and put on the piece of cloth, Karen. That was more serious than I thought I would get, while talking about these animations of girls fighting. Anyway, back to the fights. White starts singing and there's an error in the reflection. Never mind, the red trailer's better now. The fight starts and the combatants hit each other a few times. White starts bleeding from a punch, then she shatters the guy in an epic fashion. I should probably say that he's called the Armageddon, but I don't think this is ever said in the show, so I don't think it really matters. And the fight's over, leaving a scar on Weiss's face. I couldn't find a place to put this in the script, so I'm just going to put it here. This face Weiss makes is absolutely beautiful. After the complete lack of emotion on Ruby's face in the last trailer, this is such a breath of fresh air. Like, I felt genuinely bad for her, despite having no clue what's happening here. Anyway, that was the White trailer. My favourite out of the 4. It's not perfect, there's some animation errors, and this part of the beginning goes on for a bit too long, but apart from that, it's great. 9 out of 10. So what's next?
Blake, it's time.
Oh no. So, the Black trailer is by far the worst out of the 4 trailers, which is fitting because it introduces us to the worst of the 4 girls. So, after some incredible voice acting,
Okay.
Adam and Blake invade this train, which has a bunch of security bots on it, which asks a lot of questions. First of all, what are all these bots doing on this train? This train is meant to transport dust for the SDC. So why is there just this whole cart with no dust and just security bots? Are all the carts like this? Was it the trap for the White Fang? But we see dust on this train later, so it must be cargo. Also, what would have happened if they just fell into another part of the train? What the fuck is this security system? Also, you know how I mentioned in the Red trailer it annoyed me that the wolves just stand still and get hit a lot of the time? Well, they pushed that dial up to 11 in this fight. The bots just stand there and wait for Blake and Adam to have some banter, then after Adam slices one of them in half, they just stand still. Great defenses, guys. I see how you're #1 in the dust market. If you haven't seen the show and are just watching this video because, just pretend what I'm saying makes sense and we'll all get through this. They take the battle outside, and why is the cargo outside? But you know what? I'm just gonna move on. Blake gets mad at Adam for killing innocents, and wait, if this is the room they were looking for, why is there no security here? Who designed this train? Adam obliterates this robot, which looks cool, and then there's this weird cut, and Blake cuts off this section of the train as slow as she can, blah blah blah, you've heard this before. I refuse to believe that this trailer was made by the same people who made the rest of the trailers. Its plot is held together with superglue and the power of belief. The choreography is boring, and Blake's character is inconsistent. Like look at these 2 scenes.
Looks like we're gonna be doing this the hard way.
Don't be so dramatic. Goodbye. Don't be so dramatic.
Does that really feel like the same character? This trailer isn't just a step down in choreography, but also facial animations. Like, remember how much I was complimenting Weiss's face in the White trailer? I guess I just gave up on this one. Probably a good thing Adam wears this mask. This trailer just gets worse the more I think about it, so I'm just gonna stop. Okay, one last thing. Why is Blake wearing this bow? She's still a member of the White Fang at this point, so why is she hiding her ears? 3 out of 10. I can't tell if that's too harsh or too forgiving, but this does not live up to the hype of the first 2 trailers. It's also the only trailer not to have this shot, so that's definite proof that this is the worst one. least the music's pretty good. F a little edgy. And finally, the yellow trailer. This trailer has the job of introducing our perfect goddess. So how does it do?
Oh, Junior, I was just playing with you. Don't be so sensitive. Come on, let's kiss and make up, okay?
Not great. It starts off fine. Yang's on a motorcycle with these weird cuts that just feel off. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. There's also a bird here that I'm bringing up for no particular reason. These two men are talking and Yang sits next to one of them. I actually really like the first few lines they say to each other.
Aren't you a little young to be in this club, Blondie?
Aren't you a little old to have a name like Junior?
The voice acting could be better, but it's better than the Black trailer, so I'll give it a pass.
Okay.
It says a lot about both characters without explicitly telling us. And it's one of Yang's few lines that doesn't make my eyes roll. Then absolutely nothing happens in between that line and the fight. Nothing. Definitely not this guy trying to kiss a man.
Aren't you a little young to be in this club, Blondie?
Yang punches the floor, which is apparently made out of jelly, and Weiss and Blake's songs start playing for some reason. And then some cool fights happen. Yang's fighting style is my favourite out of the four. You can tell she's the most experienced, so her taking on all these men feels like they're trying to keep up with her, rather than just standing around. I also really like the escalation of the fights in this trailer. First it's a bunch of minions, then there are these two girls who, at least the kicking girl, seems to be pretty experienced, enough to put Yang on the defensive, and then against a man who was in the intro, who gets some solid hits on her. One thing that is really cool is Yang is apparently weak to kicks, so when these two girls show up, one of who specialises in kicks, Yang deals with the kicking lady quickly, and while she's out of commission, she absolutely wrecks the other girl. Then the kicking lady forces Yang on the defensive because of the type matchup. I know they have names, but they're too irrelevant for me to care. It's not much, but it's more attention than what the actual show gave our witness. I also love how pointless this battle is. Yang comes in looking for info on what I assume is her mum, and then doesn't get any info, so she just trashes the place. Ruby is fighting for her life. We don't really know why Weiss is fighting in her trailer, and Blake is just following her boyfriend. Yang starts a fight because she can. It's great characterization. 8 out of 10 trailer. If the voices were better, it would have been a 9. Conclusion. Watch these trailers. These trailers are so freaking cool, and this video will not do them justice, so just watch them. The video's over. Bye!